Hello creators, and welcome to Creators on the Crest. I'm Stephanie and this is your pick a pile reading. So we're going to go through a little bit about that today. I have some notes written down here, and so I'm going to put my glasses on and read through those. In the meantime, be sure to give this video a like and make sure to subscribe, but also hit the notification bell so you receive all the updates and all the readings on my channel right when they come out, okay? All right, let's go. So, to anyone who is new, just have fun, make yourself comfortable, make yourself at home. I have lots of content. Trust your intuition. Just follow your own inner guidance, okay? So my name is Stephanie and I run Creators on the Crest. I do tarot readings, and at the time of this particular video, I do offer personal readings as well. Everything you need to know will be in the description below, but today we're going to focus on pick-a-pile readings, and the reading is the message you need to hear the most to propel you forward, okay? Now, let's caveat that by saying that sometimes it's not the message you want to hear. It's the message you need to hear. So do keep that in mind. There may be times where you're like, oh, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to deal with it. But it's what's coming up for you. It's what's coming up in the moment. Your intuition led you to it. So be sure to listen and take away what you can. Now, these are general readings, so maybe not everything will resonate, and that's okay. Take what you like and take what you need and leave the rest behind. You can also adjust the speed settings on the video to listen more slowly or listen faster if you'd like. So be sure to use your preference with that. A little bit about me. Okay, I am a Cancer sun, a Taurus moon. I am an Aquarius rising, and my north node, I have a cusp north node. I have Sagittarius and Scorpio, and what it really feels like to me is the first part of my life was more the Sagittarian energy, and I'm moving now into Scorpio, and that's kind of what I'm focused on. And with the movement of the planets and the way my chart is, that's kind of a unique place to be. So I've got a little bit of fire and water in that north node. It's absolutely my pleasure to welcome you here. I have been kind of part-time doing this kind of work for years, and I did it while I was working a corporate job as well. And in 2022, I left my corporate job to pursue my passion, my purpose, which is tarot and alchemy and the spiritual coaching field. So here I am. And I am just so thrilled to be here. It has been a complete growth experience. There's been challenges, there's been setbacks, there's been comebacks, there's been celebrations, the whole 9 yards. And I look forward to sharing with you even more about my personal journey in future videos. It's definitely one of alchemy, one of change, growth, and evolution. I've been aware of my psychic skills since birth. I knew I was highly intuitive. I used to have experiences when I would just be playing in my backyard and in nature. I would have these connected experiences, and I would have an understanding of what was going on even as a child, and that certain things just weren't right with this world, and that I must have something to offer. I must have come here for a reason, to be a part of this world at this time and help move it forward in a beneficial way. I spent the first part of my life grinding away like a lot of people. I was doing the corporate ladder, the rat race, going to college, doing all the things in order, just to like society, your parents, etc. teach you to, but not necessarily adhering to my own dreams and my passions and my strengths even. So, you know, I have a lot of experience. I studied biology. I have a big science background, and that's always been great to serve me to understand biology and how humans operate and the physical body and somatics and things like that. But there was always this spiritual journey as well. And that spiritual journey really got amplified when I had my kids, my 2 kids. And it was as if everything I had ever known, every belief, everything I had picked up almost like came out of me and was just suspended in this cosmic plasma in front of me, and I could pick and work with different elements and figure out what worked for me and what didn't. There's something about bringing a life into this world that changes us. It was a very powerful experience for me. Even though I was having children and the structure of the corporate world and the weekly paycheck or whatever felt safe, it wasn't necessarily what I wanted to keep doing. So I had been planning my exit from the corporate world for quite some time. I'm a homeschool mom, I'm an entrepreneur, and just a student of the cosmos. I love being a perpetual student. Tarot and oracle readings have opened up my world to so many things, both for me personally and in working with others. And just having an understanding of natural and cosmic law, it has led me down some really important paths in life. I'm so happy to have arrived at this point to be here with you right now and worked through the obstacles I needed to in order to be here, sitting here, talking to you, engaging with you, and providing you some quality content that you can benefit from. The whole purpose of my channel is to uplift and elevate. Yeah, we're going to look at the real things. We're going to look at the problems that are going on, but we're always looking for how we can lift up out of those. Sometimes it takes time. We all have different lessons to learn. We have different paths to travel that are part of our soul development. And so it takes patience and tenacity and fortitude to keep on this journey in life. But I prefer to do so in a supportive community with uplifting people who are of like mind and like heart. And so I so appreciate you for being here. And I'm going to talk a little bit next about how I prepare to read and how I prepare my space, and then we'll get further into the readings. So when I sit down to do any reading, I like to have my space clear. So I have my desk or my table, and I like to have it cleared off, not only like cleaned off, but cleared. I usually use essential oils and like a scent anchor to prepare for the readings, and I will just kind of tune in to where the energies want me to take that. Sometimes I'll have crystals laying out. You may not see them on camera, but they're for me, and I might burn some sweetgrass or something like that, or have a bit of Palo Santo going at times, sometimes a candle. It just depends on the mood and the feeling of the energies that I'm already picking up before I do the reading. It's also very important to me to keep a level of energetic protection for myself, and I always set the intention that the energetic protection is for me, because if I don't have my cup full and overflowing, I can't be in service to you. Protection is so important when you're working with energetics and with spirituality, because there's a lot going on out there, and you want to be very clear on what is your energy and what is not. And so I have a very specific technique called the Circle of the Magician that I do to help sanctify and protect the energy, which I'll probably talk about in another video down the road. I also intend that the energetic protection that I set up around myself extends into the reading itself and into the energies of those who will be tuning in and getting the messages and receiving the messages. So you as the listener also are offered protection, and you get to listen and participate at your comfort level. And of course, if you want to work more privately on things, all of my readings are confidential. And if there's ever any time to share anything, it would be in a professional review or something like that. And of course, that would be agreed upon. But other than that, if you just need to talk privately, the readings are listed below with the links, and you can check those out and see what might work for you. You're definitely going to want to tune in to me on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook as well, because I do occasionally list specials there in stories. So you may want to check there and see when those specials are being listed. They are a great opportunity, especially if you're tight on funds and you just need a little boost into something. You can also check out my website, creatorsonthecrest.com, for more information. That's where I'll be listing all the things that I'm launching and I'm going to be doing. Be sure to get subscribed to my email list, and we'll make sure you don't miss out on any of the great things that are happening. Okay, back to clearing the space. So I will select the cards for the initial piles in the pick-a-pile reading. I shuffle several decks and I put the cards face down, and then I put a crystal or some sort of totem on top of that particular pile that I feel called to use, right? I have not seen those cards. I will not look at those cards till it's actually time to do the reading and reveal them to you, and then I will pull additional cards and have additional things like charms or maybe runes or something like that to enhance and clarify the reading. I also prefer to do my personal readings with less information up front. I feel like that's more confirmational for you as the client, and it keeps the energy nice and clear until we go in and makes a nice clear beginning and a nice clear end. So as you navigate the video on picking a pile, I wanted to talk quickly about the different kinds of empaths there are. Me personally, I have known, as I mentioned, that I have been empathic since birth. I'm a physical empath, which means that during readings I can actually pick up on physical sensations in the body of where energies may be stuck, or there might be shadowy or dark kind of energy. I often feel discomfort in those areas. Sometimes I have to clear my throat. I might sneeze. I might yawn. It can produce in all kinds of ways. I do prefer to let the subscriber know that these things are happening, so sometimes you'll hear me describe that in the videos. I'm also an emotional empath where I can feel things. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm feeling till I take a little bit of time to really get clear on where the energy is coming from and who it's originating from, but I often feel that through a vibration of emotions. And then, of course, we have the psychic intuitive clairs, as they're called. I am clairsentient, meaning I get feelings. As I just mentioned, it's the emotional empath and the feelings. And then I also have claircognizance, where a knowing will come in. Now, I will say occasionally during readings, I will have what I perceive to be spirits or souls from the other side, more of like a mediumship kind of energy come through, and that does not happen all the time. I'm not constantly in communication with people from the other side like some mediums are, people who have that heightened skill. However, they will come through from time to time, and I will share that very openly and honestly if I hear someone or am made aware of someone's presence coming from that realm. But the energy I'm mainly concerned about when I go into readings is my greater being and your greater being and the universe, okay? So I'm really looking at how those three communicate. I'm really reaching into the multidimensionality of myself, and I'm reaching into the multidimensionality of my subscribers and my clients, and I'm hearing what messages come together out of those energies. Now, my audience, you, the subscriber, are most likely drawn to my work specifically and my channel because you are a person who is not afraid to do the real work, the real healing work for yourself. You likely, whether you would define it this way or not, you likely are very skilled in moving through the principles of alchemy, as within, as without. The all is the mind. You likely have a very strong connection to just knowing those things, even if you have not studied them. You would also be the kind of person who gives yourself permission to act in alignment. This is about actually doing the work of your calling, doing the work of your purpose. So giving yourself permission to do that, no matter what the external world is telling you, or society, or your family, or your parents, you are really called to march to the beat of your own drum. You also are likely the type of person who will give yourself, or at least you're willing to, give yourself permission to rest and rejuvenate when that is needed. You're the kind of person who has an awareness of energy, and you understand when that energy is full, and you understand when that energy is depleted. And so you will take the necessary steps to rest and rejuvenate when needed. So we have a nice balance then of action and rest, masculine and feminine. You're also the kind of person who is likely committed to becoming the very best version of yourself. And you really want to live life to the fullest. So thank you so much for listening to my introduction, getting to know me better, and getting to know how I run my readings. I would like you to continue on, and please enjoy tuning in to how to pick a pile with your intuition and enjoy the readings themselves. Thank you so much. Be sure to check out all my other videos. We offer a lot here on Creators on the Crest, and I look forward to seeing you. Creators, now it's time for you to pick the pile that will contain the messages that you need to receive in order to propel your life. You're going to be using your intuition for this, and we have 3 choices today. So, will just listening to the messages propel your life? No. Will you have to do the work? Yes, you will. Will you have to be in alignment? Yes, you will. And will you have to have your heart open to receive? Yes, you will. So keep that in mind and keep that in your heart. Now, how to choose? What I recommend is just taking a few moments to relax into yourself, taking a few deep breaths. You may want to pause the video for a moment just to get centered and really in tune with yourself. For some of you, the answer may come right away. You may already know. While I was talking, it may have come to you which one is for you. For others of you, you need a moment to get centered, get ready, and prepare yourself and tune in and tap in to your intuition. There are a few ways, once you're tuned in to your intuition, that you can do this. You can gaze upon each pile and see which one gives you that certain feeling. Or if you're visually impaired, you might just want to listen to my brief description of each pile. And when you feel that spark, that zing, or perhaps a shift or a pause, or maybe a whoa or a yes, then that's your pile. You've got to trust what comes to you naturally. So when you feel that slight shift, it could be powerful or it could be a very gentle nudge. You want to go with that and trust that. That's your intuition speaking to you. It doesn't always speak loudly. So keep that in mind. For some of you, you're just going to be pulled toward a certain pile. Our first pile that we have here is the rose quartz heart. This heart is from Brazil. It's got a very soft pink color and a beautiful clarity with lots of striations and inclusions within the heart itself. So a lovely piece of rose quartz crystal. You may feel connected to that. Pile number 2 is the Chrysocolla, and this is a smoothed piece of Chrysocolla. It comes from Mexico and includes vibrant teals and greens embedded in some tan and black matrix here. So we've got a beautiful conglomeration of colors here. So Chrysocolla may call to you. And the third choice, pile number 3, is a nice chunk of petrified wood. This comes from the Petrified Forest in Arizona, USA. It's black and tan with some maybe more orangey brown colors streaking throughout the wood. Very ancient and old. Amazing processes that must have created that, right? So we have 3 very different stones here, 3 very different options, all of them beautiful, all of them important, all of them powerful in their own way. Now, you may feel like, oh my goodness, there's 2 of them I like, or my goodness, I can't decide, I like all 3 of them. You may want to listen to all 3 readings. There may be something in the messages in all of the readings for you. So again, you're going to have to trust your intuition here. If 2 of the 3 stood out and you're having a really hard time deciding, go ahead and listen to both. Maybe one of them will have some aspects you need and another pile will have different aspects. You can also go with what stands out to you the most at this point in time and then come back later at another time. As a reminder, these are timeless readings. So whenever you find this particular video and are drawn to one of these piles, it is the highest and best time for you to receive those messages. So we're taking these messages outside of the temporal field. As a reminder, all of these sections are time-stamped for you for ease of listen. Okay, creators, let's get into these amazing Pick-a-Pile timeless readings. Okay, hello, beautiful group. Number 1, we have the lovely rose quartz heart here. So I'll just bring it a little closer so you can observe. It is so clear and such a light, soft pink. Rose quartz is a powerful stone for knowing and tuning in with self-care and self-love. So that may have been something that your subconscious wanted from this reading today. And we're going to get into it. So I have mentioned in the previous sections how I prepare for the readings. I have not seen these cards, and that's how I prefer it. I drew them face down for each pile, and we're going to get into it first. We're going to see what the overall energy is for you, Rose Quartz group. Let's take a look first. Ooh, my goodness, we got time, number 41 as an overall energy. The energy of time supports our understanding of the relativity of time and our capacity to be in the present moment. Wow. And with this being a 41, that could be a significant number. I will call out numbers, although I don't always go super deep into the numerology. I do find it interesting. Also, when we're looking at a number like this, a double-digit number, we can add those 2 numbers together. 4 plus 1 is 5. Which is the number of tension and maybe conflict. Some of you could be feeling like you're running out of time, maybe to find a partner, maybe to get connected with other people, to do something in your business. I do feel like some of you may be feeling like there's a time crunch or a deadline, or you could just be working with those energies in your job. But when we're working with the temporal field, it's very important to remember that your portal for understanding that is coming through the present moment. So tuning into your lovely heart, being gentle with yourself, being gentle with the processes that you're going through, taking your time, being mindful of time, your time, being respectful. For some of you, this is about being respectful of your time and maybe respectful of other people's time as well. Another piece to the overall energy here is the cosmic heart, devotion, potency, and make your life a moving prayer. Wow, I can't think of a better way to really become present than to move in relationship to your own vibe, your own beat, with your own prayer. Now, prayer sometimes has a little bit of a catch to it as it's used religiously many times. However, I feel that this is more like your calling, your dance with the cosmos, not necessarily a prayer that you've been taught. Could be for some of you, but for others of you, this is about you moving in the energetics of prayer for yourself, how you're devoted to yourself, how you're devoted to your self-care, how you're devoted to your healing, how much more potently related you can get to these energies. That's very important for some of you. So time, the cosmic heart, And here we have a tarot card, the 10 of Water. And in this particular deck, this is the Herb Crafter's Tarot. It's the red clover. This is the 10 of Cups in the traditional tarot. Wow, I really feel like your reading is about love, self-love, and then through the energy of that high level of self-love that you have and embody for yourself, you have the ability then to attract in so much more from others. So there's a capacity thing here. This may have taken you some time to realize, but if you stay consistent and devoted, so if you're feeling like, man, I want to have kids, or I want to get that job, or I need this money to feel stable, or whatever your desire is, and time has gotten away from you, or you feel like it has, the 10 of Cups would challenge you to change that story up a bit, to really be present with what you have accomplished, because a 10 is a number of completion. So there's a gratitude element here. We've got the red clover tea being made here. I see some of it is spilt out on the table. It's kind of everywhere. It's outside. You may feel at times like you're overwhelmed. Or if you're rushing, you may feel like time has gotten away from me. I'm always in a rush. I'm always in a hurry to get things done. And I feel like the 10 of Cups card would invite you to look at what is already done. What have you accomplished? You don't have to grow it, dry it, make it. You know, what ways can you conserve and save your time? Put your energy into what's going to move the dial the furthest for you when it comes to love, relationships, self-care, and what you need to do for your next step, perhaps even in business or career, right? Very interesting energies, but we're going to hold those as our overall combo energies as we get into the reading. So once more, we have the 10 of Cups with red clover. Could make a nice tea for you at this time. We have the Time card, a little bit of tension I was feeling in this energy here, and the Cosmic Heart, a moving prayer, devotion, and potency to your life. All right, let's take a look at some tarot here. So I'm just going to move these up slightly, and I may pull them back and talk about them again. So the tarot gives you the 8 of Cups, the 5 of Wands, and the Tower. Oh my goodness. Some of you, I just want to acknowledge that some of you have been through some relationship turmoil. Now, this could extend into your relationship with yourself, but I do feel that another person has been involved with you in some relationship turmoil. This is speaking to me of a walking away from that relationship because there was just too much tension, too much fighting, too much toxicity. Some of you were able to walk away before things got really bad. Others of you may find yourself a bit in the tension phase or lots of fighting. Some of you have been waiting for this person to change something about themselves, about their life for the better, but you're finding that maybe that is not happening, and maybe the time has come to address that and make a decision here. It's very interesting that within your overall energy, within yourself, you have the 10 of Cups, which is a completion energy. And then we're kind of what might feel like going back to the 8 of Cups. For some of you, I feel like you've invested a lot into a relationship. And even though you may know it's time for it to end, or it's time to walk away, or this could, for some of you, represent a relationship pattern, not necessarily an exact person, but a relationship pattern that you want to walk away from, or you want to move your energy away from. You want to embody something totally different. You want to embody this 10 of Cups. And that's overwhelming for you because it's big shifts in your psyche. It's big shifts in your emotional body. And so some of you, this is a relationship pattern. and you see how it's played out. It gets tense, there's fighting, and then at some point everything breaks down. And I find it interesting, this falls under your cosmic heart card here. Devotion and making your own life a moving prayer, because I feel like this relationship pattern or this particular person, the toxicity with them, it really breaks down your ability to move and flow in life properly. All right, so this definitely, to me, I'm just going to be honest, because as I said in the previous sections, I'm going to put out what I'm getting here. This shows a relationship ending or some sort of breakdown in a relationship or in a relationship pattern. So if you've been single for a while, or, you know, by choice, maybe even, you are recognizing how maybe you've been caught up in certain patterns before, or you're getting more comfortable understanding what your triggers are and what your activations are, how you get activated into conflict, perhaps. You're also taking a look at how you might have brought conflict into situations. I want to get some clarifiers for these three, and this is going to come from an elemental oracle that I have here. So for the Eight of Cups, we've got wisdom. Yep. And I'm kind of getting that serenity prayer, the wisdom to know the difference. All right. And so for those of you concerned about, have I broken the pattern? Am I finally going to attract my 10 of Cups? Do I have time? You know, how can I maintain my peace? There's wisdom showing up here with this walking away from the person or the pattern, which I really like. I feel like that's very supportive. The Five of Wands, we get water. I like that. It kind of quenches that fire. It takes a little bit of the fire out of the energy here. And for the Tower, we have upheaval. Ooh, okay. So I'll just point out that in this spread, the Tower is our major arcana card. So it can feel very defeating and depressing and shocking, and you may be in a cycle of grief about the upheaval that has happened with this person. For some of you, it's a person you're dealing with, or the decision to walk away from them and to end this situation and these patterns is going to really change up your life, their life. We could have living situations involved here that are important to consider. That's the bigger energy going on here. And I could see how at times it would be very difficult for you to be in your moving prayer, to be connected to the cosmic heart, to be connected to the heart of self-care and self-love. It may be something that some of you have lost, or if you haven't lost it completely, you're wanting to make more time for that. And you're in a situation or with a person, or you're healing a pattern. You're healing a pattern here in relationships of tension, conflict, and destruction. I'm feeling peace. I'm feeling like the wisdom that is gathered in you letting this go. And really, like, if we look at this character, he's going to continue walking to the Nine of Cups, to the 10 of Cups. He's going to go into that very relaxed state with a nice cup of tea, right? The wisdom, being able to sit with the wisdom in everything that you've learned and gained is super important. This is on the emotional level. This represents a really nice progression. Even if it's been a hard decision, or you're going through this right now and things are overturned, you know, there's back and forth, that's okay, because you are looking to release this. We have a full moon in the background. Full moons are excellent for releasing, and you're moving into a state of more emotional serenity and more emotional peace. And therefore, it calls for less tension, less fighting, right? There may be an element of forgiveness that needs to come in with the water droplet here. I feel like this card is kind of giving me a vibe of the sun will come out tomorrow. You know, it's not all rainbows. There are clouds. There is darkness. There are turbulent waters here at times, but that the element of water will come in and help the sun come out. So you may feel like you're in a bit of a deluge or a downpour right now with your emotions. You may feel like your nervous system is a bit fried or on edge. You feel a bit on edge. You feel a bit uneasy. Maybe the stability and structure that you had built with this person has broken down, but it's not worth this tension here. Some of you could be needing to connect with some of the water sign placements in your own astrological chart, and you can get your whole chart online for free. Some of you may already know, though, what your different planetary placements are. That may be of significance for some of you. So you're looking for Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, and that's going to be fourth house Cancer, so fourth house energy. Scorpio is giving us, what is Scorpio giving us? 8th house energy, and Pisces is 12th house energy. So looking for those elements in your chart may help bring some understanding and clarity to why maybe you and this other person, or you and this relationship pattern, it's been more tense. Some of you may have been taught that, and this could be from parental upbringing or someone you saw, that to fight means that you care. It means that you're passionate. And there may not have been a space, a safe space being held for proper communication in your upbringing, healthy communication. And you may have, as a child, been very aware that your parents were fighting. I get the sense for some of you, you just wanted it to end. You wanted it to stop. When was it going to be over? When can I get out of the house? When can I leave this situation? This is too much for me. I'm too sensitive. Some of you are way too sensitive for that kind of environment. But it's the cards you were dealt. It's the family that you were born into. At your soul level, I think you had some knowing, but it still doesn't mean or in any way bypass the stress that you may have gone through, and then the pattern repeated into your adult life with another person, someone who would play out that dynamic with you until you got to the point to say no more. And I feel like that's what we have with the Tower here. If you're not already at the point of saying no more, I want peace in my life, that means peaceful people. That means peaceful work environments, peaceful situations. Some of you have children that you're protecting and trying to teach them and model for them the right behaviors. You're willing to take the risk to move everything around in order to gain back your peace and reconnect with your own beautiful cosmic heart here. Okay, so wow, super powerful rose quartz group. I do want to get a little bit more energy and more clarifications here. So we have the cards that were initially selected, and we have our outline here of what we're looking at. I want to get into the masculine energies and the feminine energies. So I'm going to use the Journey to the Divine Masculine Oracle. What are the masculine energies that are involved in this situation for rose quartz pile? Revelation and Clouded. Okay. Let's get the feminine energies from the Journey to the Divine Feminine, and let's see what's up here. What are the feminine energies for rose quartz pile, please? Feminine energies. Patience. Looks like a bit of nurturing going on there. And what else? Woo! Abandonment wounds. Okay. For some of you, wow, I kind of want to start at this abandonment wounds with the feminine here. I was going to come over here, but I really want to start here. For some of you in childhood, the proper communication, right, in the household wasn't happening. It wasn't very healthy. Maybe you were aware mommy and daddy were fighting, or maybe mommy or daddy had multiple partners coming in and out. And there was this tendency to shift yourself and your own behaviors to cope or to make up for what one of the parents was lacking. You could have also gravitated to either mom or dad and felt a need to protect them. And in the child's mind, that gets very mixed up. That gets very complicated at times because it's not your responsibility as a child to create protection in a safe space. It's the responsibility of the adults in the situation. And for some reason, that looks like it was lacking for some of you. And so there's this fear of being left. Some of you could have had a childhood sweetheart that this played out from, a childhood sweetheart in yourself that broke up and you took the breakup very hard, like you thought you were going to marry them and live with them forever. And so on the feminine aspect here, there's an overgiving to try to prevent the masculine from leaving, or possibly even getting angry, or, you know, these efforts that are not truly your responsibility to prevent these kinds of tower moments, these kinds of tensions from happening. And that's a lot of scattered energy. It breaks your nervous system down. You feel like you're walking on eggshells. When's it going to blow up? What can you expect? I'm about to sneeze here. Here we go. I talked about in the previous segments that there's big release that wants to come out from this. The feminine is also asking you to be patient with yourself. Please be patient. I know time feels like a factor to you, but it's time to really nurture yourself and the seeds of your cosmic heart here. It's time to be devoted to yourself and feel the power that you have in the palms of your hands. Okay. I also love that we have a redhead here. I feel like this is the more organic, fiery energy we're looking for that's coming in with the feminine. So some of you, there could be an auburn or red hair connection here. And look at that beautiful smile, right? Just really happy to nurture oneself, nurture one's relationships, and in turn be nurtured. Now, this is going to take patience because we have wounding. So the healing work still has to be done here. And there's layers, right? It doesn't mean you can't explore relationships. It doesn't mean you can't move forward. So if you feel like you're stuck and pressed for time, let's just choose to let that go. And if you're feeling that, take a big breath in and release it. Like I said, I almost sneezed. Like it just, yes, it wanted to come out. On the masculine side, and these energies could be showing up in you or could be showing up in whomever you're connected to. But I feel like since we are talking about a self-care group here and self-love, I do feel like these might be energies. At some point in your beingness, this revelation has happened. I do feel like this has already happened. Some of you have had revelations of, I'm no longer going to deal with this kind of cycle. I'm bringing it to completion. My time, my energy, my peace is way too valuable for me to risk continuing to be in these kinds of situations. Again, it's coming up that some of you have children to care for, and so that is also a factor and an important motivator for you. The masculine also shows that this is where some energy is clouded, however, unable to think clearly, unable to make decisions, or having poor concentration. Now, masculine or feminine, you might want to consider hormonal influences or changes in your diet. Some of you could be detoxing, and it could be the reason for a little bit of brain fog. And I like the idea of detox for some of you. And there's different types of detox. I'm feeling a physical detox though. I think that would be very helpful for many of you to really, really clear out these patterns from the physical body. This cloudedness, even though it says unable to think clearly, it really feels like a physiological kind of thing. Now, I am not a medical professional. You will need to check with one of the professionals that you work with personally to maybe figure out what's going on there. I'm just sharing the information that I'm getting here, and it feels physical, and that's what's affecting the mental clarity. This could also be representative. Remember, we can see that some of these roles might be reversed. The clouded nature might be coming from the other person involved, perhaps. The revelation could be coming from the other person. Maybe the two of you are having a sit-down conversation to say we can't go on this way, so where do we go from here, right? This is a general reading, so you have to keep that in mind. I may be picking up on more than one of your energies here. Okay, I really want to clarify this Five of Wands here. We're going to pull a few tarot cards here just to kind of clarify, because this feels like the slippery slope point. This feels like where things kind of start to go wrong. And maybe there's some helpful information for our Rose Quartz group that can help them avoid falling into that pattern. Whew, Seven of Wands. And the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, good news. I feel like this is changing for you. What's really nice about going from the 5 to this 7, let's take a closer look at this 7 of Wands. You have the higher ground. And it probably comes from this wisdom that we saw, and it comes from the ability to forgive and move on with your life. There could still be a lot of things you have to work out. There's, 6 wands coming at you, but look at you with the high ground there. Look at you standing above. At times, you could still feel a bit defensive, or as you're moving through healing some of these energies or working in with your therapist or working in a certain program, you may feel some of this release or may feel like, oh, I'm defensive. You may find yourself feeling defensive in situations where you don't need to be. That's okay. We're going to have grace. We're going to know that we're a part of the cosmic heart. We're going to stay devoted to our healing practices, and things are going to start changing here. We're going to be able to move and progress out of these more challenging energies here. And what comes after the 7, the 8 of Wands, which is a faster moving energy, which I think will feel really good to you, since some of you are really caught on that. I don't have enough time. I wish I would have dealt with this sooner. Those kinds of energies. And look how the wheel and the time card both have the orange and yellow circle there. That's important for some of you. You're processing very deeply in the sacral and the solar plexus areas of your energies. So that the gut energies, perhaps that's why detoxing feels good as well. Some of you may need to do that. Let's get you a few charms. I love using charms. I use these quite often in my personal readings with my one-on-one clients. So you all know that's in the description if you're interested, but it's just a fun way to ice the cake and give you a few extra little messages. Now, I always encourage my clients to make sure that they put their own meaning to these symbols. So I will share my take on it, but I would also like you to trust and tune into the meanings of what they mean for you. Let's get a few. Just gonna get a little pinch here, a little pinch. First up, we have, let's see if I can get that to focus, the anchor. The anchor. Now, some of you may be into boating or being on the lake or a river boat or something like that. A cruise ship may be in your future. Some of you may have been thinking about that. This also carries me back to that water element that you're using to kind of overcome these energies, which is beautiful. There's going to be times you want to anchor your ship, so to speak, whether physically or metaphorically speaking, and just sit in the dock and enjoy the scenes around you, maybe using the anchor energy to be a little more present with yourself. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We've got the lotus flower as well. This is a representation of growth. It's a representation of grace unfolding. It really reminds me of the overall energy of the cosmic heart that you got. Potent, beautiful, powerful, gentle, also very patient. Some of you may also be into yoga or find yoga stretching to be incredibly important. And then I'm going to show these two together because we have some familiars here. We have the little Dachshund, the little wiener dog. Let's get that. There we go. Isn't he cute? And we've got our fancy cat. I call this one the fancy cat. She has a pretty little bow around her neck. So we've got both the loyalty of the dog. We've got the curiosity and the fancy feeling coming from the cat. I was kind of thinking of that fancy feast, you know. So some of you may have a cat that's quite fancy. Some of you may have the Dachshund dogs and then just enjoying watching them run around, and they have such personality and style, right? Definitely getting big personalities from these two charms. So, wow, that's nice because that may bring some joy into your life. And sometimes in these periods of transition, our animals can really help us overcome the adversity that we're up against. And to close off your reading too, I would like to pull a rune from this little mushroom cap rune set. Oh my gosh, isn't this adorable? Let's get, whoa, okay. We're going to trust this. We're going to trust this one rolling out here. And I'm going to read about it a little bit, but this is Suvilu. Suvilu, it's spelled S-O-W-I-L-O, and it means the sun. I love it because I believe I talked about maybe the sun coming out tomorrow, like feeling like that was going to happen with this water element that you're working with. This is connected to success, achieving goals. It's about honor in partnership. It's about loyalty in the journey. It also has to do with, if you think about the power of the sun, the power of transformation, positive change. Also, there is a health connection to Suvilu. Okay, and it kind of just looks like a little zigzag S. It's kind of like a little lightning bolt S here. It also can allude to victory and bringing yourself into a place of wholeness. So these are runes of the Elder Futhark. And if that strikes you as important, you can definitely study that. If you come from a tradition other than the Norse tradition or the old Germanic traditions, you may want to look into the indigenous tribal symbols from your culture as well. There may be one that is very similar to this that might be important for you. I always encourage people to study their own history and where they've come from and their bloodlines. Oh, wow. Okay, Rose Quartz Group, thank you so much for joining this beautiful reading. I offer you so much love, so much peace, all the patience you need to move through any difficult situations. And it's just an honor to have you here on this journey. Wishing you all the best. Take care. Hello, group number 2, my Chrysocolla group. We've got this lovely Chrysocolla stone. This, to me, for you, speaks of your dynamic ability to move through life. I do feel momentum and movement in this stone. And if you look at it and maybe the way that it hardened, there was a lot going on. There were definitely different materials coming together to make this lovely matrix of a stone. So some of you may have been drawn to this stone because you are quite dynamic, or it's a dynamic time in your life right now. As I mentioned in the previous segments, I have not seen these cards. We're going to reveal them together and look at the messages that you need to hear, and knowing that these messages will assist you in propelling your life somehow. Maybe it's validation, maybe it's confirmation, maybe it's a potential next step, or just seeing where the energies are flowing and going. Sometimes those aha moments come from when we're not trying to figure something out so logically with our minds, but we're open to the messages that are coming to us. So let's see what we got. Without further ado, we're going to set the tarot cards aside for a moment. And we're going to go into one tarot and a few oracles here for your overall energy. So Chrysocolla group, let's see what you got first here. Wow, the number 21, the freedom card. The energy of freedom supports our sense of limitless possibility and potential, boundless expression, and bold exploration. Definitely goes along with that dynamic feeling I was getting from the Chrysocolla stone for you. I love how we have the illusion, kind of a abstract illusion of wings. I almost get a dragonfly kind of feeling for some of you. That may be a totem. We've got the number 21, and 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 is a number where we begin to expand. So we go a little bit more from the duality and the dualistic nature of our lives, and we expand into something more. Some of you could be dealing with issues of freedom as you add a family member or a fur baby to your family. It may be changing up the dynamic of freedom for you. So we've got some interesting energies already floating about here in the reading. For others of you, I feel, maybe all of you, freedom, and not false freedom, but true freedom, feeling free to be who you are, feeling free to pursue the goals and the dreams that you have that are unique to you, not feeling forced into expressing yourself a certain way, but finding your own unique and creative way of that self-expression. And others of you, this may have an element of travel. So some sort of travel or change of scenery could be very helpful to you, to this group, to get you kind of out of the ordinary and into the extraordinary is what I get, into the more limitless areas of your life. So we're going to, with open arms, welcome that freedom aspect there. And from the Starseed Oracle, you get lifting the veil, questioning everything, anything unaligned must go, which is beautiful because in my introductory segments for the Pick-a-Pile, I talk about being in alignment. So some of you may really be releasing things that are out of alignment with your greater being. There could be people being released. There could be situations. You could be leaving a job. This is a card of scratching beneath the surface, questioning everything. This is really about you applying your critical thinking skills and being very honest with yourself. We're bridging those gaps of cognitive dissonance here. And we're really looking at what are our priorities in life? What did we truly come here to do? Not what's been created, man-made, created for us, not what has been narrated in the narratives that are thrust and forced upon us, but who are you really and what did you come here to do? This goes along very well with the freedom card, and it's important to remember that we first become free in our own minds before we can affect freedom in the reality field. And I believe you're going through that. Very important part of your process right now. This is the Herb Crafters Tarot. You got the 10 of Wands, Comfrey. Okay, so sometimes the burden of truth, when we're finally scratching beneath the surface, we're finding out that maybe the life we were taught we should live is not our true life. It does not bring us freedom. It does not bring us alignment. That sense of uncovering the truth and discovering the truth can be a huge burden. And I think sometimes we miss that. We end up going down rabbit holes of conspiracy and truthers and all that stuff. that's fine. That is part of some people's journey to do, but there's also nets, traps, and snares in that. And at times, maybe you have been bogged down in some of those energies. And I feel your reading is guiding me toward you aligning back with yourself. That's what's going to propel you forward. So you've uncovered the truth, and I'm talking about cosmic truth, natural law, your alchemical principles. You're really becoming to be in alignment with that. And so now this is about giving yourself the rest and the decompression time. Comfrey makes an excellent salve. It's very soothing. So there are times where the burden of truth is so much and there's so many rabbit holes and there's so many people trying to discuss different things with you and pull you in different directions that you may just need to rest yourself so that you can nurture how you're going to express this freedom personally. Okay, not somebody else's ideas even, but your own creative ideas. Many of you have already uncovered, I would say all of you, if you're listening to my channel, you've already uncovered that what is on offer here is the effects of detrimental energies. It's in their energies of slavery, quite honestly. And so if you've chosen Chrysocolla, you are looking to break out of that and doing your part in it. There are some things that under coercion or duress you may still have to do, right? You may still feel like, okay, I am still having to pay my taxes, or I still have to work this job because I have these fears around my children being hungry, or I need to provide for this situation or that, right? And you are starting to uncover that maybe some of the fears are irrational because you are a child of the cosmos. You are connected. You are supposed to be here. And you're not supposed to be here. And the majority of us, yes, maybe we came here for a challenge, but we did not come here to suffer. And it's our responsibility to pull ourselves out of those areas of suffering. So comfrey, a comfrey salve or a comfrey balm, of course, check with your healthcare professional, but these items might be really good. Comfrey tea, something that you can make. I'm getting more of like an ointment or a salve. And even if you don't work with the actual comfrey itself, the comfrey leaf, or any of the parts of the plant, you can work with the energy of comfrey. So there may be some times where you just need to disengage from some of the conspiracies and I'm using that term as because I think conspiracy gets a bad name, but it's also been an energy that has propelled us forward. And a lot of conspiracy theories of the past have come out to be true in the long run. So if we can, maybe for you though, disengage the sting and the pull of that a little bit and pull your focus a bit more on your own personal freedom and what are the movements you can make in your life that lead you there, even just a baby step. Remember, you're lifting the veil. You don't have to barge through yet, but you're coming to these understandings. And it can be scary because subconsciously our fears arise, and then we have to eliminate and clear out those fears in order to see with clarity our best step forward, right? So there's some of that going on here. Let's get our tarot cards here. We have the Gilded Tarot Royale, the Hierophant, very much a card of freedom and self-authority. The Hanged Man, a card full of wisdom, a card of being able to see things differently than you ever have before. And the Ace of Cups. Your emotions are tied into these energies. You may be having some emotional release, or your feelings are really tied up into that. And that's why the comfrey is coming up as helpful, because this may feel like an emotional burden to you. All of a sudden, you're having feelings that you didn't have before. You feel a certain way about things. You may be angry at the system. You may be angry at the controlling parties in the world. And this can really be something that you carry with you every day. So the encouragement of the Hierophant, and we're going to get some clarifiers here in a minute using another oracle, but the Hierophant, oh, look at how beautiful the aura is shining. You're opening up into your own self-authority. Now, yes, this may have a religious connotation. in the imagery and what it looks like, but it really is a card of heightened spirituality, of being connected with your cosmic energy, being connected with the natural prime creator of the universe, being in alignment with that, and knowing that you came here with purpose, you came here with reason, you came here with courage, and you are going to commit yourself to embodying that. This is a number 5 card. That can be quite a tense process. It can pull you in a lot of different directions. So you may feel spread a bit thin. Again, that's where this comfrey comes in. Let's make sure we are relaxing some of the energies when they get heated here. Okay, so that's a nice reminder here for you, but you are going through this massive process. The Hierophant, also known as the High Priest, and the Hanged Man or the Hanging Man are major arcana cards. This is big for you. This is important life realizations for you. The Hanged Man here. Now, look here. This Hanged Man is hanging upside down, quite acrobatically, I might say. So flexibility, I'm just going to say for some of you, mobility and flexibility may be something that you're focused on, or you know you need to focus on. Like if you haven't stretched your body intentionally today, might be a good practice for you to do something like that, right? Some of you may be climbers, you may be acrobats. I'm seeing like rock climbing, I'm seeing rappelling, I'm seeing the yoga silks, I'm seeing like trapeze and things like that. So some of you are having some of those physical experiences as you're embodying the energy of the Hanged Man. Now, this is definitely a different perspective. We do have some coins falling out of the Hanged Man's pockets, so there is some release of the material world, the way it has been designed here, letting material things go. Your focus is much more on the spiritual and the energetics at this time, and your alignment with that. And what better base to have? This is the Hanged Man. It can feel like a bit of an opposite to the freedom energy that you're showing me here. However, the Hanged Man is a very important part of the process. It's all about seeing from a different perspective, seeing truth from the inside out. And that's what I'm getting for you. Many of you are going to spend a little time doing this. So there may feel like at this point there's less action and more experiences happening for you. And then we have the Ace of Cups here, which brings us full circle emotionally into a new beginning. So we're feeling a certain way. We may be angered by what we've learned and the veil that we've pierced. We've seen beyond it. And now we see other people trapped behind the veil. That hurts us. That makes us angry. It brings us, it's like that anger that brings you to tears sometimes because of your connection. We've got a Piscean energy coming up here with the fish being depicted here. Pisces is the sign that connects heaven and earth. So you may be feeling a certain way about how am I even going to do this in my own life, right? I think some of you are getting caught up in the bigger picture at times. So do be aware of that. And we need to be able to look at the bigger picture and expand our viewpoint, sure. But I do feel that pull to you having your own internal experience with this, with freedom, with breaking through the veil, with taking care of yourself as you do it, with staying in alignment. Okay, so many of you are having emotions, and you may be taking more time in the hangman phase to process some of these emotions, and I think that's absolutely fine and actually quite healthy. So good work there. Let's get some clarifiers. For the Hierophant, we get accomplishment. For the Hangman, we get the air element. I like that. And for the Ace of Cups, we get combustion. Yeah, there's those emotions that are coming up and out, confirming that anger might be the underlying reason for your tears, and that's okay. The tears will help you process it. So the Hierophant and accomplishment, you're feeling quite productive with the spiritual progress you've made. We've got a bunny rabbit here representing production, activity, but also you're learning, maybe, this is very interesting. Some of you are softening your gaze on this. So when you start to discover truth and you look at the way the world has ended up being designed, we're looking at the effects of many choices of the past, it can be a little harsh. And I think some of you are taking the time with this comfrey would go along with that to kind of soften your experience, maybe protect yourself a little bit from these energies, or just take moments to soothe yourself a bit as you explore this. You know you're playing the game. He's holding a playing card, really interesting, which, you know, the tarot was first and these playing cards came later on. So it's really interesting in the history of that, but you're kind of learning how to play the game, but you're not maybe revealing that to everybody, okay? So there's some things you might want to keep a little more private right now, and I think that's okay. I think you're softening those energies, maybe so that the burden doesn't feel so strong. Again, the bunny is kind of on his back, you know. It's a good sign. It's soft, it's productive at the same time. And you're softening some of those energies so that you don't get overwhelmed, that you don't get shut down. I love the air element with the Hanged Man, because the Hanged Man puts us in a position where we are not actively seeking out the elements, and we have to allow the elements to seek us out. And this air card here is seeking you out. So air element energies, the energies of Aquarius, Libra, of Gemini. Okay, this is some of the knowing. I feel like not even necessarily a mental knowing, although I think it will translate to that, but this is more a holistic knowing coming through the element of air. Some of you could be working with energies or practicing aerokinesis, where you move the air with your energies, okay, and with your focus. And for others of you, it's just about being in this place and letting the wind blow over your face, letting the air speak to you. Some of you may be clairaudient and hearing things in the wind as well. Yeah, that's important for some of you. Some of you can hear things in the wind if you just pause and listen. Okay, so some gifts are coming out of this experience, which I really love here. So in my initial interpretation, where that Ace of Cups was maybe anger that pushes you to tears, we have this combustion here. There needs to be a portal of release. We've got the fire element coming in and informing this, right? But I do like that we have water and fire here. We have a nice mix, and there's nothing wrong with being angry. It's a natural emotion to have. There's a sacredness to certain anger, especially when it comes to issues of freedom and being able to live your purpose in the world, and maybe have lived a good part of your life not in alignment with that. If you're younger, this is a message just to teach you maybe what some of your ancestors or the people that have come before you are going through, and the way that they're shifting things for your generation. But if you're older, you've likely been involved in, whether you've just sought a career, you did what your parents wanted you to do or what sounded good on paper. You sought that, and ultimately it has not been something that fulfills you. This card is reminding me of the Ace of Wands with the Ace of Cups. That's two powerful beginnings for you, feeling ignited in your own aligned energies and feeling emotionally connected to those energies. It's so interesting because I do want to just mention quickly that group one, the Rose Quartz, if you were connected to that group, it was more about relationships, but it also had that element of alignment. So that could be something if you were drawn to both stones, but you came here first. Okay. Let's get some more information for us here. What I want to do first is I'd like to really clarify these two aces, because I think that has to do with moving you forward. So I would like clarification for the Chrysocolla group for the Ace of Cups and the Combustion Oracle card, which reminds me of the Ace of Wands. That's why I'm calling them the two aces. The Four of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, wow. I like this because I feel that Oh, wow. Some of you have this shape-shifting kind of energy. I don't know how to describe it. When I chose this Four of Pentacles, I immediately was drawn to his hands. I feel like he's turning the pinnacle connected to his heart. There's something more sacred that this individual that you may be finding in the practical world, in the material world, or something to do with your health, or you're really focused on opening your heart and processing these emotions. So it was the heart center that stood out to me the most, but we do have a pinnacle on top of the mind here and 2 under each feet. So that indicates connection. Like I said, that Pisces energy, connection to both heaven and earth here. And I feel like you keeping things a little more soft, maybe a little more secret. Maybe you're not letting everybody know, hey, I've uncovered all this, existential wisdom, and I'm going to let you know about it. You might feel called to do that, and there might come a time for that, but I think right now you're in that processing phase, and that's going to set up a lot of stability for you moving forward with whatever you choose to do. However you're going to express yourself in this life, however you're going to explore, you want to be able to do that from the stable energies, right? We kind of have to get with the art and science and the magic of navigating the matrix, the reality field that we're in right now, while we at the same time evolve into a more freed state. So you're having this very, very powerful experience going on right now for yourself. But I like here that we have the Pentacles, because that to me tells me you have a high chance of being very successful in doing this. And I think it's because the time you're taking to really process the emotions and release certain things from your life so you can become more in alignment. Let's get a couple cards from the Journey to the Divine Masculine. I always like to look at the connected masculine and feminine energies. So for our Chrysocolla group, what are the predominant masculine energies that are connected to them and their situation? We've got soulmate. Some of you could have really been sparked by someone here. And contemplation. Okay, I'm not surprised on that one. I like the soulmate energy coming in there. We'll talk about it in a minute. Let's get the feminine energy. So I'd like to see what's up on the feminine angle of things here. This one. Warrior. This one's been coming up a lot in different various readings. The feminine is really putting on her warrior armor, or shedding some armor, becoming a different kind of warrior perhaps. And we've got dignity. Sorry about that. There we go. Dignity. All right, so let's get into this. On the masculine side, the masculine is acknowledging that perhaps some of the inspiration toward this action of the Hierophant, of getting closer to knowing yourself, has been sparked by a soulmate. And we've got a very cute card here. They're having fun jumping on the bed. It's a very sweet and playful energy. I like that, especially during such a serious reading. We have maybe someone who brings a little more fun into your life. Now remember, soulmates do not have to be romantic. They can be friends. So there's still that energy of you can still have a good time, okay? I know this is like serious information and you've figured out a lot, but it's okay to let loose, kick up your heels, have a little fun, and there's somebody in your life you can do that with, because otherwise you're in this deep mode of contemplation, right? You're really in this place of contemplation where you're like trying to figure things out, and you're looking at the bigger picture, and then you're coming within. And even as I say that, the camera is trying to focus on contemplation here, right? It's like we're moving out, we're moving in. There's a lot of activity happening even when you're still, which is really interesting. That's what the masculine is saying. Even when I'm still, there's a lot going on. So that could be mental activity, it could be the emotions, it could just be the energies that you are feeling. Some of you have become more energy sensitive than you were before. And then for the feminine, we have the warrior here. And she is about really coming into an energy of a sacred mix of masculine and feminine. It's about strength and courage and that wisdom that's being embodied. But it's also about receptivity and tenderness, which I kind of saw in the bunny rabbit for the accomplishments. So to me, you feeling here's what it is. Okay, and I had to kind of really tune into that. What it is, it's kind of coming back to this lifting the veil. Part of your journey of lifting the veil is connecting in with more of a feminine warrior flow. All right, and this is a balanced energy. She's very much the Queen of Pentacles that you got here. She is aware that she has a higher purpose or mission here than she's lived out to date. And she's looking in the direction of, I'm addressing this. I am going to set forth further on this journey. There's no doubt in my mind that you're going to take further steps here. Okay. And you're going to do so with dignity, without cutting other people down or getting too sucked up into more of the us versus them kind of dynamics. You're going to choose yourself and walk away from situations that you don't feel are healthy or respectful. And it says here, walking away out of self-respect and knowing your own value and worth. But I think you're also discerning the value and worth of the communities that you're involved in, even like so much as to go as far as to say, what Facebook groups have you aligned with? Some of you may be going through your social media and really cleaning house and really disconnecting from the energies of people or group think tanks that have gone amok, right? And are off the rails. And it's just because as you're figuring things out, you're putting more trust in yourself. You're putting more trust in yourself to be able to discern these things. And I think that is beautiful. I think that's what we all need to do. I'm not saying don't be a part of groups. I'm not saying don't join the conversation. I'm not saying don't engage with others. But you're being more specific about how you'll spend your time doing that. And I do think that's an important thing. Okay, we're going to do charms today. I love doing charms for readings like this, and I do use these a lot in my one-on-one readings too. These just represent different symbols. They're like getting a little icing on the cake of this reading. I'm going to give you my interpretation, but if a symbol pops out that has a specific meaning to you, roll with that. Trust your intuition. So we're just going to stir them up and then get like a little pinch here. Okay, so we've got a few things here. First off, we have the airplane. That's that travel energy that I picked up on the beginning. Some of you are going to be traveling, or some of you are just connecting to the air elements. You may be watching the airplanes. You may be at a nearby airport. You may be hearing the planes. You may be aware of the planes. Some of you may be pilots or getting a pilot's license. Okay, so we've got the air element, we've got the travel coming through again. So another message. Ooh, yes, our group one got this as well, the anchor, but it was a different anchor. Yours has the rope kind of being like a little snake, like winding around it here. I think you've pulled the anchor up here. For you, you've pulled the anchor up and you're setting sail, okay? This is the anchor that's sitting on the boat. It is not anchored. It's not pulling your ship down. You're finding stability within yourself. You're having an exploration with the air element. Some of you could be boating, the wind moving past you as you're boating, or you're doing some sort of water sport or something. But the anchor is up and I feel like you're setting sail. This is part of that energy of freedom. It's part of lifting the veil, and it's nice because it's going to add a little bit of momentum to the stillness here of the Hanged Man. We've got the sweet, wise, loyal elephant here. Big energy. This is a big energy for you. It's a big transformation. You are perhaps being put in some positions of leadership with this, or you're knowing that you're going to be leading in some way. I feel like this is like a lead elephant, the one that is at the front. Okay, so for whatever that means to you guys, the open heart is here. We've got the heart. We're not defining it. We're not making things perfect here. We don't have to feel and be perfect all the time. This kind of has, you know, it's kind of offset. It's not a perfectly symmetrical heart. We're allowing things to be. This could also be connected to the anatomical heart. The heart really stood out on that Four of Pentacles for me, and it's definitely an area that you are focused on. I love it. I love when I see people doing good heart work. And we have the peace sign. Okay, I know in some conspiracy circles, right? It could mean a certain thing, so go with what your intuition tells you. However, this one is speaking to me. Again, I'm getting the sense of like an airplane or a rocket taking off as I look at the inside of the peace symbol there, inside the circle. There also seems to be almost like a Celtic design that may be a little hard to see on the camera, but there's this weaving pattern and like a Celtic design on this peace sign here. So some of you may have Celtic type connections or Druid studies may be helpful and important to you. Oh my goodness, so cool. Let's get, now I have this cute little mushroom cap rune set. Oh my gosh, isn't this the cutest but most powerful thing you've ever seen? I got this on Etsy if anybody's wondering. I'm sure you could just go search it up if you like it, or you know, some of you woodworkers could probably design one yourself. But what we're going to do is get a rune to close off your reading here. So I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of this, and we're going down for this one here. Ooh, so you have Hagalaz, and Hagalaz is connected to hail, H-A-I-L, hail, and it's H-A-G-A-L-A-Z, Hagalaz, Hagalaz. Now, kind of looks like a ladder rung that's at a diagonal angle, which is really standing out to me. I think there are some things in effect that you're reflecting on that you feel like are uncontrollable forces, and that's one of the representations of Hagalaz here. It can relate to destruction or the breaking down of things, but it can also relate to merging something. So if you look at this like two parallels, and I'm also getting a Gemini energy here, there may be something you're connecting. Gemini energies, the air sign, it could be important here. You could be a Gemini, or you're just using mental connective energies to connect something together. Change. This can also, there we go, mean a tempering of yourself, which I got in that Hanged Man energy. Tempering, we also get kind of an alchemical feel from that. So studying the phases of alchemy as it applies to your consciousness could be really important. Inner harmony comes up with this rune as well. With the Hierophant and the Hanged Man energies, I'm not surprised. With the balance of the water and fire that I got in your emotional energies, also very auspicious rune. Now these are the runes of the Elder Futhark, right? And we're looking at Norse and Old Germanic. I definitely encourage you, if you have a different ancestry, to go and find the symbol that might be like this for your ancestry. There are different alphabets, there are different ways of communication, there are different symbols in languages that are important. So this is meant to assist you. But if you're like, well, I'm not Norse, I'm not connected to that old German part of the world, find the symbol that is connected to these energies. Transformation, change, evolution, merging of energies, uncontrolled forces, tempering, inner harmony. This can also represent a reflection on protection, protecting yourself, and the past. And I like the protection element as it applies to the heart space. I think that's really important. And, you know, you may be reflecting a lot during this time with that past energy, maybe connecting something from the past to your present moment. Wow, Chrysocolla group, very powerful dynamic reading as I got from the stone itself. I certainly appreciate you being here and giving this pick a pile a good listen. And please remember that in the description below, you can check out further links and ways to connect. And I'm sure I'll be doing another one of these. It's been my absolute pleasure to do this one. I love it. And I will see you next time. Hello, creators, for the Petrified Wood group. you have chosen this beautiful piece of petrified wood and the pile that goes with it. Now, the messages, you started talking to me, almost interrupted the reading before pile 2 with the Chrysocolla. You're like, my turn, let's go. I got a feeling that some of you are in a deep blackening phase when it comes to the alchemical process. There's also this element with the petrified wood coming through of standing the test of time. Some of you may also be dealing with the principle of aging or aging gracefully, or maybe some of you are trying to fend off the aging process somehow. So we have definitely a lot going on here, and you're definitely very excited. I do feel a push in the energies. And you know, anytime we're in the blackening phase of alchemy where everything is, you know, gone to ash, we know that we will come out. There will then be the whitening phase and the reddening phase. And if you don't know what those things are, you can do a quick Google search. I'm not going to go into a whole alchemy study at this time. In fact, the whole process of studying alchemy may be important for some of you as it applies to your consciousness. I feel like some of you are telling me that you're going through a hard time right now, but you will be as the phoenix. You will rise from the ashes. So that's very much a kind of vibe I'm getting here with the petrified wood, with the alchemical process, and that's where it wants to sit there. Okay, so as I mentioned in the previous segments, I have not viewed these cards. We're going to do your overall energy first, and then we'll get into some tarot and clarifications, and I've got a lot of good things in store for your reading, so we're going to pack it here. But let's start with our oracle cards and just key into the overall energies. I gave you my initial impressions. I'm seeing these cards for the first time as well. We're going to start with the Sacred Geometry of Relationships Oracle, and the energy that is up for you is the number 10, authenticity. The energy of authenticity supports our choice to be genuine and truthful in all aspects of our lives, with others as well as with ourselves. Now, this is a big deal right now. We're kind of going through this biodigital convergence, this time where AI is starting to take up the reins on certain things, and things are becoming more sophisticated in the deep fakes and the scams and things like that. And so there's this push toward, let's remain authentic, be who you are, tell your story, and shine your light, shine who you truly are. Very interesting. Some of the vibes that I get from this authenticity kind of cross over into that Chrysocolla group. So if you were pulled to more than one pile, you may also want to have a listen there. But right now for you, it's all about, how do I remain authentic to myself? Some of you are rather private. So when I say like share your story, you're like, well, it's none of their business. I get that. Some of you are more on the private side. But I also believe in your ability to be authentic to your story and language it appropriately within your comfort level as well. So there's some credit there, maybe that you're not giving yourself, all right? And some of you may also be pulled into more of like the numbers, like this many views, this many followers, this many subscribers when it comes to your business or it comes to like your personal page. I feel like some of you have money tied up in this. And so there is this encouragement here to disconnect from that, to kind of let that burn, that expectation that it's almost like its own entity that kind of pulls you in and grabs your focus. Or I have this many clients, they have that many, they're making that much, I'm making this much, you know, that kind of push-pull out there. And I'm definitely getting the encouragement of, you must trust yourself to put forward your authentic self and your authentic nature to the extent of your comfort level, and know that that's okay. And accept that part of yourself and the phase that you're in. Ooh, the Starseed Oracle says you're not alone. Isolation physical connection and community. Yes, so this would be maybe an important time to get in connections with others. I'm a big fan of solitude, but not necessarily isolation. We need and crave human connection. I am getting the sense that some of you are a bit distraught with this because you have trouble finding people locally and close to you that you can relate to. There are a lot of people that you may just be friendly with and neighborly with, and you know, you have the pleasantries and the P's and Q's or whatever, but it isn't really the kind of connection that is long-lasting, sustainable, and adds depth and dimension to your life. And some of you are very much craving that right now. That's what I get with that. And you're being reassured that you're not alone. I'm not going to lie. This may take some time and some output and some extroverted energies on your part to connect with these people. Some of you may have connected with some of them online. Of course, be safe. Always practice safety in this, but you may want to see about a retreat or a shared place to meet someone. So there is that community, physical connection that's coming up. Others of you, maybe it's just you need to go to the local gym or yoga studio and take a class with other people. Or go to that singing bowl workshop that you've been thinking about going to. This may be just getting out in your local community and doing a little something without the pressure of like, oh, I got to make a friend. Oh, I got to, you know, because these things, oftentimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. They end up happening really serendipitously. So remember, this reading is the messages you need to hear to propel yourself forward. So within your comfort level, because you keep telling me, I want to be comfortable, you know, you're a little bit nervous to push your comfort zone here. And I get that. Oh boy, do I get that. I can relate to that 100%, but I'm definitely getting like, I still need to feel safe. I still want to maintain my privacy, okay? But don't isolate yourself. Find the balance here. Now, this beautiful card comes from the Herb Crafter's Tarot, and you got the 9 of Water, and it's the peach tree and the peach blossoms here. Now, what is so cool about this is that the 9 of Water is the 9 of Cups, and this is really you feeling good about something. Oh, and I'm getting a lot of burping coming up right now. Oh my gosh, this always happens. Now, there is an element of release. I see a robe hanging from the tree. Do some of you skinny dip? Ooh, okay. Now, you know, of course you have to be careful where you might skinny dip, and I know it's winter for some of you, so this may be coming from another time, another place. You may have had this experience of being in the woods, going to the river with friends, the lake. I could be seeing a bit of earlier in life kind of experience for you here. But some of you are really connecting in with that energy of like feeling good in your body, feeling like you can express yourself, which our second reading had a lot to do with that as well. So that reading's coming up as well for this group as a possible thing to listen to. But this has you feeling good. Now, maybe it is connected to some sort of physical connection that you get with people, or just the comfort level in your own body. You do not have to be naked. But even in your own home, do you take time to dance naked in front of the mirror? I know some of you have dogs, people, cats constantly watching you. You may need to shut yourself in the bathroom and take a big mirror in there if you don't have one, and put a little music on and just dance naked. Okay, just dance naked. Look at you authentically. Be vulnerable with yourself, even if you're not ready to be vulnerable with others right now, or be more vulnerable with yourself in a safe environment in your own home. Okay, so for whoever that is for, that is popping up there. Now, some of you, there may be another person connected to that energy as well. Somebody else that makes you feel good. We've got peach. Peaches are sweet. They're delicious. They kind of remind us of summer, right? They also have that hard pit, you know, so it could be somebody that's very sweet, but also a rock for you, whether it be a soulmate, a friend, a family member, someone like that, or someone that you have sweet memories of. This could be someone that may come up in your dream time, so watch for that as well. Lots of pink energy here, lots of heart energy here. And yeah, all right, we're gonna take a deep breath there, because there's this energy that some of you have that is of release with this, right? Of releasing into these energies or things that you need to release. And we got the World card, definitely moving through a portal, a cycle closing, cycle of some kind. The King of Pentacles. That could be that hard peach pit kind of energy I was getting. Someone is your rock. Someone is a provider for you. Someone is helping you, or those are the energies you're working with internally, connected to authenticity, expressing and finding stability while being your authentic self, even if you consider yourself to be a bit off the beaten path, a bit of a fringe kind of person. And then we have the Moon. Wow, two major arcana energies, the World and the Moon. The Moon, Cancerian energy, some healing, some things in the shadows. I feel like that healing goes right along with isolation, and maybe feeling a bit of depression from feeling isolated from other people. So, like I said, you may have to get out during the day, during the sunlight, and kind of counter that. For others of you, this is a double message of what I was picking up before. It's really important to pay attention to your dream time, because your subconscious is trying to inform you of something here. Let's get a few clarifiers from the Elemental Oracle here, and we will go further and deeper into this. We got the Earth element here with the World. We got the Cosmos element, or the Cosmos energy, with that King of Pentacles. And we have, guess what? Connection. We have connection going with the Moon over here, and also hearkening back to the You Are Not Alone and community card there. So, okay, these are some important energies for you, Petrified Wood group. Some of you may feel like the prospect of me telling you to go out and go to a class, you may feel a bit petrified by that. You're like, oh my goodness, going into a new space. But looky here, y'all are moving through some really nice balanced energies of the ending of a cycle, and maybe it is the end of that isolation for you, okay? Maybe some of you have had to heal a relationship. Maybe, I also feel like for some of you, there's this, the one that got away kind of feeling from the past, or I wonder if I would have ended up with so-and-so, what would life be like? And so some of you are accepting that was not the timeline that you're on this time, and you're moving through that portal to release that in a very balanced and loving way. I love the grounding energies of the Earth element assisting with this World card here of the passing through the portal. It feels like an energy that is very in alignment and stable and connected with the Earth element. There's also an indication here of a lot of growth and also a lot of communication. I feel like for some of you, I'm getting communication out of this with this fungus here. The saprophytes and the fungi of the forest have this unique connection with their roots, and they talk. The soil is alive. They talk to the trees. They talk to each other. There's magic in the forest. So for some of you, a nice forest walk, a nature walk, as we got here with this Nine of Cups, a more carefree kind of experience, especially once it gets warm and you have a safe place you can go to be. Do that. There's something that may be communicated to you that's an important part of this cycle closing out for you, but it's coming through from the Earth, not the cosmos. But here, through this person, this rock, your peach pit. Some of you could be, what is that show, Friends? The Peach Pit. Some of you could be fans of that show or have watched that in the past, or that has some meaning to you here. That's catapulting us into this king here. Now, this could represent your own energies, how you may be a rock or a, what do I want to say? I want to say like Wow, you're throwing to me like some scientific terms, like you're the angle of stability, or you're the pinnacle of stability. I feel like geometry might have something to do with something here. And yes, of course, the pinnacles have the shape. Like here, and instead of the 5-pointed star that you would normally see, we actually have the pentagon. Some of you could be dealing with someone who's in a government job as well. That could be a part of it. And you're receiving your income or stability through the government. Yeah, very interesting. Or you have some knowledge and wisdom about the government, or about, I'm getting like secret operations here. It's getting kind of, and some of you, it's exopolitics. So we have the politics that we see argued about on TV all the time. And then we have exopolitics, which, well, we have the global politics, right? Which goes from, let's say here in the United States, we have, you know, the USA politics, and there's global politics, and there's the exopolitics, the exopolitical arena. Some of you are involved in that. Some of you are involved in that galactic arena as well, with the cosmos coming in here. You have a connection to the stars, all right? Possibly to a history in different areas of the cosmos, or someone you're connected to has these kinds of experiences. They're an experiencer. Very interesting here. I want to say with this cosmos here, because we have the masculine energy with the king and the mastery here in the physical world, or some sort of deep knowing of things that not everybody knows about. And then we've got kind of the triple body, celestial body, and we have the triple moon goddess here on my mat here that I am doing the reading on, and we have that same shape here. For some of you, that is important. Some sort of triple body, a trinity. Oh, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Mother, Maiden, Crone. Interesting. Yeah, some of you, it's a Trinity type of energy that may or may not have a religious connotation. I just said that because it's very well known. Everybody hears about that as the Trinity, but there are different kinds of Trinities out there. Some of you could be involved in some sort of Trinity community of some kind. Very interesting. I actually like that. I feel like it's a different play on it, right? It's not necessarily the traditional religious Trinity. All right, and for some of you, it might be more earth magic, you know, Wicca kind of stuff. That's fine. It's beautiful. We need to let ourselves be authentic. We're not going to pretend like we don't have these interests or we don't have these ways that we want to move, right? That's part of this reading. It's remaining authentic to yourself. Now, this moon comes up with connectivity. There's a lot more going on underneath the surface that you cannot see. I think at times your mind convinces you not to go out to that class, and you're like telling yourself stories, right? Or you're like, well, I have my family at home for some of you, and that's fine, but there are other types of connections that are wanting to come out of the shadows here for you at this time. For some of you, it's getting in alignment with people, because I did feel that aging element. Like some of you are looking to age gracefully. Maybe there's a group, like a health group or something like that, that you're wanting to connect with, that's going to help give you some answers. Like, I know I am always looking for natural ways to heal my skin and heal my gut and heal my body, and you know, reduce wrinkles, and exercises that will help me, right? I feel like some of you are really on that. You're really on that. And you're blending that in. Yeah, there's some release going on here, because some of you, it's been, excuse me, an up and down journey. It's been a while coming, and you're telling me, oh gosh, yes, I need to, I think it's the need to stop pressuring yourself about it and start trusting yourself. The moon is a card of intuition. This is about trusting yourself on this. Okay, these are some really beautiful energies. These are big energies. I would like, excuse me, to get some clarifiers on that moon card. We're going to pull a few tarot cards. Let's clarify the moon and connectivity. For some of you, it's subconscious realms connecting to the conscious. The Hierophant, not surprised there. Spiritual. making spiritual connections with people, and the Ten of Swords. Whew. Yeah, this is a tougher part of the journey for you. I think for some of you, it's been an upbringing where you were told you couldn't hang out with certain people, or you couldn't think that way. Or maybe you got into spirituality and you got into, you know, starting to critically think and self-author your life. And maybe you were reading books or going to workshops or something like that, and you were told, are you joining a cult? You were judged by that, okay? That's what I get here. Like there's some sort of wounding. There's definitely some sort of wounding going on here. Coming up and out of the subconscious, there's some sort of previous wounding of something specifically that somebody said to you and judged you about. Oh, that's voodoo. You know, I've got that one before plenty of times, right? Oh, you're a witch. Well, first of all, I don't like labels and definitions, but you know what I'm saying? But something like that. You were judged in not a good way, and not a good feeling way, and it's had some sort of effect on you and kind of moved you into that more isolated state. And you're now at the point in life, I think maybe the point where you've just come to this realization, listen, I got to be me. I got to be authentic to me. And if you don't like it, or you think I'm a cult, or you think you're judging me and trying to label me something, that's not going to be okay for me. And I'm not saying there's not cults out there. We all have to be careful and use spiritual discernment, absolutely, because those things are real. However, I think you were accused of that or judged in that way, and it was not the case. So that's what I'm trying to clarify here. And I don't think it's something that happened recently. I think it happened a minute ago, or it's someone has repeatedly done that. For some of you, you may be with, not all of you, but some of you may be with a partner that you cannot talk to about these things. And so you need other members of the community, friends, kindred spirits that you can communicate with these things to, right? And that's not right or wrong. They just might not be in the phase of their life or in their soul's journey where they're ready to open up to that, or it might just not be their interest. This is not a one-size-fits-all world. But there is this call here for you to be authentic to yourself and to understand how to display authenticity in a world where a lot is going on, right? A lot is happening. Okay. Let's take a look at the charms. Now, I love using these in my one-on-one readings. They ice the cake near the end of the reading. I really love it. I'm going here first, but I do have a few more cards I want to pull, but for some reason I'm pulled to these charms first. So we kind of have two more things after this. Now, I will give you my impression of these symbols. But if one of these symbols really means something to you, you have a tattoo of it, you've traveled somewhere, and it makes, you know, trust your own intuition, right? So not only with what I say, but what it means to you. We just get a little pinch here, a little handful. This to me is the white rabbit. When I get this charm, it's like, follow the white rabbit, follow the white rabbit. And I think this little white rabbit is your own inner voice. It's your own intuition saying, follow me, be curious. I've got something for you. We can move on this. This is part of your authenticity. Or maybe it's follow the white rabbit that's going to get you to go to that group setting or that class or that event where you're going to connect with some of these kindred spirits and make some community connections here. Follow the white rabbit. Yes. We got the butterfly representing transformation and an unfolding of opportunities for you. To me, I am getting a big feeling of opportunity here, like the wings are open. It's very much time to embody the fullness of who you are, your authentic nature, right? Going back to that authenticity. This is about taking up space for some of you. Maybe taking up more space in your home, maybe taking up more space with this King of Pentacles, or taking up more energy within yourself to connect in with that. Very transformative. And then we have the little Pisces fish here. Pisces has come up a few times. These are timeless readings though, so it doesn't necessarily have to mean it's Pisces season. This could be Pisces or 12th house energy in your charts. Look for that. Also, this is giving me a feeling of fluidity where it's okay for things not to be so sharp-edged. I feel like you're wanting to curve, you're wanting to flow. There's kind of a feminine feeling that I'm getting here. So however that applies to you, it could just be with like interior design or hula hooping or something that kind of has soft, you know, those softer edges, a gliding of some kind of vibe. And then we have, possibly this might be you and the King of Pentacles here. So we have a man on the front of the bike and the girls standing on the back. It kind of reminds me of like what we used to do in the 80s for you Gen Xers. You know, you'd stand on the back of someone's bike. Getting a Stranger Things vibe here. Some of you may be into the series Stranger Things with 11 riding the back of Mike's bike, right? Some of you may have done this. It kind of is, it's drawing me back to that 9 of Cups you got, like a memory, like the skinny dipping memory. I feel like that's a memory for some of you. Or you may see your kids do that. And then lastly, we got, okay, now I'll have to explain this. This is going to be hard for me to get focused on the camera. But what it is, it's a hand with a thumb like that. And I was just, this is so funny because at the time I'm doing these readings, I was just showing one of my friend's kids a joke, and he's like 5, you know, so he was like, I'm like, you want to fool your friends with the joke? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, you can pretend like you're pulling your thumb off. And I showed him how to put one thumb under here, because this is something my dad used to do. And you tuck in the other thumb and you go, oh, I'm pulling my thumb off. Bam! Oh my gosh! Ah! And you can like make it as dramatic as you want, right? Having a little fun, having a, you know, maybe there is a joking energy, or maybe some of you, it was your fathers that used to do that. I know my dad thought that was hilarious. And even after we knew what he was doing and figured it out when we were really young, he like kept doing it anyway, right? So that could be connected to your King of Pentacles here. It could be you. You may like having fun. I'm getting the child vibe too as well. So having fun with children or getting into those childlike energies. Okay, let's pull a couple cards for the masculine energies connected to this reading. What are the masculine energies connected to my Petrified Wood group? Optimism. I can't do it, to I can. We're going to cut that apostrophe T out to I can do it. Optimism. I like that. I really like that masculine energy. And the feeling of being trapped. Okay. We're in that stage of I can't do it, feeling trapped by that energy of I can't move forward, I can't do this, I can't do that. Let's get the feminine energies. Separation, very interesting. For some of you, that could go back to the person that I was seeing at the beginning of what if my life would have been with them? Would it have been the same? Would it have been different? I'm now not around that person. For some of you, that person could have passed away as well. They're coming from the other side. Aw, and I do get like a soothing message here, divine timing. It says here on the card, now is the time, divine timing is at play. But I also get the feeling that if some of you are having memories or dreams or thinking about that person from the past that you went skinny dipping with, or a childhood love or romance, just trust that there will be another life, another place. There's a divine timing. Yes, you may be separated. The feminine is coming in to say, yeah, you might be separated. Now wasn't the time for some reason. And for those of you that resonates with, just let it be. Let it be what it was. I know your curiosity and your pull toward the person was very strong, but let it be. There's a reason the two of you we're not together at this time, okay? Feminine's coming in. For others of you, now may be the time to play divine timing. Follow those intuitive prompts to get out in your community. It's more of that. Don't separate yourself. Work on marrying the masculine and feminine within your own, your positive and negative, coming from a balanced place. Don't separate yourself. Don't isolate yourself. And then the masculine energies, and we're going to talk about trapped first. Feeling trapped, in some area here. I feel like for some of you, this has to do with either a partner or a family member. This is the trap that is related to the someone who judged you, or that kind of judging energies. If it's not, that person is not in your life anymore, it may be an energy around you or an energy that is still with you in your subconscious that feels trapped by that. Like, well, I can't be who I am. I can't be that. So what now? Right? It's that kind of energy. But also we have optimism coming through. And I think your ultimate decision, it's going to be up to you. You have the free will to make this determination for yourself. But I think many of you are going to cut out that apostrophe T, and you're going to start saying and feeling the energies of, I can do it. I can be my authentic self in this world. No matter if someone else accepted me or not, I can be me. Okay? We're going to get a rune, and I've got this really cute mushroom cap rune set here, and we're going to get this to close off your reading. So I'm just kind of going to mix, and this one, oh gosh, maybe two. You guys want two? Okay. I like these, so we're gonna go with these like this. So let me I'll try to hold them as I tell you about it. This first one here, and maybe this is why, because of those trapped energies there. This is Isa. Isa is an Elder Futhark rune that is connected to the ice, winter. It's a standstill. It's definitely feeling trapped, but you might want to have a little play on the words. Instead of trapped, maybe you imagine it like a stasis, right? Just a pause where things might feel like they're not expanding as fast, a little bit slower. You could feel at times you have blocks to your thoughts, activities, this toughness about getting out and being around other people, even though that's what your crave desires. Isa, isolation, starts with an I. That's the energy you're showing me. That's why two of these came out. Okay? It's very interesting because it pulls me into Perthro here. Perthro. P-E-T-H-R-O. This is a cup for casting lots, much like we cast runes, right? That's what Perthro represents. But this is about kinship. So we have isolation here, and we have kinship. We have community, luck, synchronicities coming through with this. Something that's hidden with the moon that you got there that is then revealed. An initiation, knowledge of your destiny. You're listening to this reading, right? So some of you want answers, and there you are. Now we live in a universe of contrasting expressions, and these two do have contrasting elements to them, but they can also work very well together and remind you, like, you are the caster of the lots. You are the rune worker. And, you know, these are Elder Futhark, Old Germanic, Norse heritage. But if you're from another part of the world and you have different ancestry, find the symbols that you can work with that are similar to these. Find the language, find the alphabet, find the symbols, find the pictures that will help you relate, because you really are dealing with this kind of time of stasis, maybe feeling trapped, but also feeling the pull into your destiny, your knowledge of your future, what you're supposed to be doing, and how you're going to manifest that. All right. Wow. The Petrified Wood group came through with some depth today. Thank you so much for joining this very powerful reading. It was my pleasure to do it. And be sure to check out the description below. Put a like on the video if you enjoyed the reading. And I look forward to seeing you next time.